Hi, hello, happy Sabbath and Shabbat Shalom. Well, I got out this morning, it's already 80 degrees in here. But also by getting out this morning, I get to see the day flowers in bloom. I suppose I sometimes overlook the fact that the field's clover has been blooming non-stop for months. I forget, that's a flower too. The white clover. Over here is a single red clover. And a dilly-dill. So there's this red clover here. It's one surviving out of a whole bag full of seeds. And as soon as they get a hold of it, they're going to wipe it out. Now, over here, we're finally getting some blooming on the Rose of Sharon. And so, again, more of the day flowers through here. Some other flowers, something over there that makes that weird spiky ball, whatever that is. And then, of course, the nightshade has a flower to it. I know some people think bad nightshade. I have no problem with it whatsoever. All the Japanese, or the bigger ones, they're called scarabs, out here swarming all over the place. They're mating and mass producing. I put out a Japanese beetle trap the other day. I have no idea if it's working or not. We'll go over there momentarily. But, so the Rose of Sharon's going to beat the band, finally. Took it a while. And then, one that took forever to get it to bloom, even though I was fighting with it tooth and nail, and it still doesn't bloom very well, is this one tomato plant up here. Obviously I want more than just flowers off of a tomato plant, but you usually end up having to have flowers before you can have fruit. So finally got it enough potassium to convince it to actually flower. Now hopefully it will then actually fruit. The sage is finished flowering. The strawberries are flowering slowly and intermittently. There's another fruit over there. These tomatoes have been flowering and fruiting pretty reliably so far. I think that one got sunburned or something. A couple of them are about to turn ripe. This thing's been flowering. Of course, the deer have been eating the tops, eating the leaves off of it. But it's also been fruiting all over, all the way up to there. So, like I said, there's several of them in here though. But still, should end up quite a few of them if the deer don't wipe them out first. This little bitty tomato plant is flowering over here. The watermelons are flowering. Hopefully they'll put on fruit. Some of the tomatoes haven't made it. Some of them have. My one lone potato over here that I know of at the moment, I finally got a cage on top of it. So it's, hopefully I can keep it trained up in a cage. The other three, I don't know if they're here or not. In other words, they may have just keeled over and died right in the ground. They looked pretty robust when I put them in, so I don't know. If they come up for a fall crop, that'd be fine. Over here, I tried putting these yellow raspberries, but apparently it was way too late. They were already too far gone. My own fault. This thing has got a couple of little flowers on, fruits on it. That one I think might be that golden cherry tomato. Not sure. Hopefully it is, because I like them. They're fun. over here. Now see here we've got our tiger lilies. I can't hold that still, they shake like a... My eyes shake and they shake. Anyhow, so the tiger lilies finally flowered. They did a good job. These things are, quote, flowering. Only thing is they're getting eaten alive by something. I tried sprinkling a whole bunch of these tick granules that are made out of organic stuff, like clove oil and stuff. We'll see if that gives them any protection. Hard to say. On the other hand, I don't know if that mint over there is basil or what, but there's a lot of it. And then that one surviving cucumber is flowering, and it'll start producing fruit pretty soon. I need to put some more in because they're just, the others all just, well, there's a couple in there, but they're not really doing anything. They're sitting there alive, but not really thriving. This thing, whatever seed it has produced, is all hidden in this somewhere. But I figure I'm going to let it go to the end of its natural seeding stage. All these little spines here had flowers on them and seed pods, but now they don't. So, I don't know. Maybe it changed its mind about making babies. I don't know. We shall see. Maybe it'll bloom again. First batch didn't really put on hardly any seed pods, let alone, I mean, it flowered, but it didn't flower very well. So, and a yellow-eyed Susan over here. A member of the sunflower Astraceae family. Our yellow cone flowers are still going good and strong, as are some other yellow sunflowers. Wish they were sunchokes. I really do. I wish they were Jerusalem artichokes, because I would love that. I'd harvest a few. I'd make certain they continue to grow. I wouldn't wipe them out, but I'd harvest a few, because I like a light, crispy, rooted plant like that. It's a little on the sweet side. I attempted to transplant a couple of tomatoes over here to this side. One is squeaking by. The other looks like it's pretty much given up the ghost. It's got a little tomato on it. And we've got our squash. We got 2 squash, 3 squash flowering that I can see here. There's a flower there. And there's a flower. And then that one down in there's got several flowers, as I've showed before. Hopefully pretty soon it will take off and make actual female flowers and make fruit. The watermelons seem to be pretty happy. There's a lone poppy plant over there that just keeps making a couple of flowers every day, a week or so. I don't know. Slow but steady. I don't know if that wins the race, but anyhow, and I had brought some more compost over here. I thought I was going to drag all these over, but they are so tied to the ground there that I don't think I can do it with my hip being the way it is, because I now officially have arthritis in my left hip, according to some x-rays and scans of my hip this past week. Oh yeah, we still got a little bit of verbena out, and then hemlock, and then Queen Anne's lace. Or day flowers over there in the shade. They like it in the cooler, shady places. So yeah, just another thing to crimp my lifestyle. Now I got the framing part of the stairs 100% done, and I'll review that again later up close. didn't feel like messing with that today. Even though it's not that it's a long thing, it's just that it made my walk longer. And I don't want to walk any more than I have to with this hip hurting like it does. So then again, we've also got some wild petunias popping up here and there. And then whatever these flowers are, all over. They're in pretty good bloom. Poor butterfly weed, every time it tries to put a flower out, the deer come along and bite it off. However, it looks as if one of them has actually outgrown the deer and put on some flowers. Now, whether they're there tomorrow or not, depends on if the deer notice them or not. So there's quite a few wild petunias there. Again, obviously I do absolutely nothing to cultivate these, mostly because it's kind of outside of my time and expense range. Otherwise, I'd have loads and droves of these wildflowers everywhere. Again, those sunflowers up there, all along that hill. Yeah, they don't focus. Oh well, such it is. Over here, pretty much everything is done, finished flowering, except for the straggling yellow coneflowers. Plus, it turns out that the deer have been coming along biting the flower tops off of a lot of the purple coneflowers, the echinacea. So they've been population limited on flowers this year because of the fact that a large number of them were topped by the deer. There's one that made it to full flower, full seed. And then, let me get another close-up of these sunflowers. I'm sure I've showed them before, but just so that people can know what they look like. They're just kind of a green-nosed, look almost yellow in the camera, but they're green. And they'll put on several flowers repeatedly over and over and over for a while. They're very good at producing a lot of flowers, so they're good background floral coverage. Of course, all the bee balm has finished flowering and going to seed here pretty soon. I gotta figure out how to harvest it without wasting it, because I want to try to use it for a tincture this time rather than as a dry crush. The black-eyed Susans up here are starting to reach the end of their floral state, starting to look a little weather beaten. But they're not done, they're just getting done though. So they won't be much longer before they're wrapped up for the summer. Of course, the gladiola has already blossomed and hopefully it's making seed. Really hope it's making seed. The other one never did blossom this year. In fact, it's only only reason I even knew they were here is because it blossomed the first year I saw it. And ever since then, well, no, it tried blossoming again. I think I've already said this before, but it tried blossoming again, but it was so miserably hot that it actually the blossoms shriveled up before they opened. So it didn't even try this year. And the little ones aren't about to try, I don't suppose. Certainly not as long as they're little. I don't even know where they came from, so I don't know what else to do about it. I could go get more and try to plant more, but I don't know enough about flowers. Don't have enough time and money to spend on it yet. If I did, I'd probably hire a live-in gardener, housekeeper, and lawn keeper, or somebody to just keep the place up, and they'd be worked to death probably with all the crap that's going on around here. But one thing I have been working on a little bit this week besides the stairs, well, actually part of what I was working on the stairs is I'm preparing some paraffin to coat the surfaces of the wood with hot paraffin. Oh, there's the kitty. Seeing this paraffin here is some of it that I got. It's already starting to round off where it got hot in the sun the other day. So that paraffin, the only reason it's there is because it's in a bottle. The rest of the paraffin I have in this can with some baking soda, trying to slowly dislodge the years of grunge baked and cooked onto it gently so I don't have to use heat. It's high humidity, you can see by the drippy drips in there. But anyhow, so I'm letting it get up to whatever outside ambient temperature is, and then just hopefully slowly work the dirt and grime off the wax before I melt it, so it's not in my final wax combination. This is one of those two mowers here, obviously, because you can see two mowers. The top is off because I needed the screws for the ignition coil, because I managed to lose the screws for the ignition coil on my DR mower that I always told you I would eventually work on again. Well, I have it here. I still need the screws to mount all this stuff down. And I have the new coil here in there. And it makes a spark. And then I'm going to probably get a better fuel system than that weird shaped gas can I was telling Mom. Oops, plunk. And I'm probably going to go ahead and maybe try to find a way to put the battery back on it and put the starter back on it. This piece originally came with that starter, with that motor, so it would go there somewhere, and all the screws to it, as well as this motor came with it. So if I mount that starter motor back on there, since I'm falling apart, it'll be easier for me to start it than how I have been doing with a pull start. Even be easier to test it for spark by having the thing spin while I'm adjusting the coil, getting the crap knocked out of myself. But anyhow, so I've been working on that part of it, and also been working on this pulley part. The reason it's off is because it was froze up. I don't know if you hear it, but the bearings are bad on it. So I'm in the process of finding and ordering new bearings, which I had to pull this weird cap they've got on here. I've never seen one like that before, and I don't know the exact method to extricate it. Whether it takes some kind of locking mechanism or what. But then the other side of it is on the back side you got this shaped piece here, and then you've got these spanners here that have bushings in them. And then you have a bolt. It's around here somewhere, maybe on the floor. But anyhow, so the thing is that, oh, there it is. So this bolt goes through there, and then it's supposed to have an orbital swivel hub that goes on there. And that's the little plastic ball. It's probably part of this here, I don't know. It might be. I don't remember. But anyhow, that was to keep it up off the ground and give it something to spin on so that it would be clear of the ground. But I don't know where it's at anymore. So, and this here in theory is a dust shield. It's supposed to keep dirt and grime off of the output shaft here. But it really doesn't do a lot. So there was still dirt and grime in here. And then on the top side, the dirt and grime got in there, so it needs new bearings. I've figured out that they're probably 6203 ZZ 17 millimeter by 40 millimeter by 12 millimeter, so I'll just have to find some. So I got the torch there because I was heating it up. I had to heat it up to get the grub screw out of it. And right here, boy, I tell you what, I sprayed some of this. It exploded out of the. It's really hard to get this nozzle accurate. You get it ooshes, explodes out, or hardly doesn't do anything, or there's an ooch out. And I tried to get it to ooch, and it went all out, and it splashed on that pulley, got all in my face. Felt like a instant sunburn. Fortunately, it didn't get in my eyes because I had glasses on. But yeah, one of them deals. Tricky, hard to use, but it's got a good product despite a bad package. So I use it anyhow at my own risk. That, unfortunately, is pretty much the sum of everything that has gone on this week. You see tools out because I had to reach in there and dig around for the right tools for things, and they were all in one box. And I'm still working on it. So, yeah, that sums up the week here. Like I say, I did get some more finished on my stairway, but not a lot, and not something I won't probably end up showing you later on. I'll end up going along and showing more of it as I go, because I still need to go in there and treat all the surfaces with paraffin to keep water out of them as I go. It's going to be hard because it gets rainy sometimes, and then your job gets wet, and that holds you off. You want it to be just as dry can be before you put it on. Even then, it's not that dry because the humidity is really high. So, and I can't encase the thing and put, a desiccant in there to soak up the moisture. Unfortunately, that won't work. But I'll have more on that over time. And in the meantime, I hope y'all have a blessed upcoming Sabbath, and hopefully you'll have a joyful, rejoicing, and spiritually rewarding Sabbath today, and in the week to come, that you'll be able to get a lot done and have, an enjoyable time doing it. And till then, see you next week. Again, Shabbat Shalom, and bye for now.